A very good morning, team, and welcome back to another daily market outlook. Starting off today with EURUSD. So back in Holland, and I must say it is very, very cold. It's raining every day, so I'm missing the warm weather of Dubai already and planning now on maybe going to Brazil. So some updates on that soon. If anybody is from Brazil, please let me know in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's dive straight in. So EURUSD has been continuing its path in towards the downside. So overall, we have now here the daily trend. So remember, guys, we are still bearish from this high in towards this low. Overall, the internal trend had kind of like this short-term upward movement until we broke again below this low, saw a pullback back up in towards that 618 fib, and ever since, let's say, the beginning of March, we've been seeing that downside continuation. So for now, what we've seen over here is a break of structure. Obviously, after break of structure, we expect a pullback. Pullbacks are expected from areas of demand. This is pretty much the next area of specific demand, so 1.058. That is the next area of demand that I'm currently looking at. Keeping in mind that the weekly still has more room to fall. So looking at the weekly time frame, we can see that this imbalance candle over here, so this bearish doji candle, got already tapped into, if we draw it from wick to wick over here. So the demand is already out of there. So looking at this from a weekly perspective, I really do think that euro dollar is ready to continue down even lower. So that's what I'm currently keeping my eyes at. We have kind of like this important trend line situated over here, which we're nearing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a reaction very, very soon. Especially if we go in towards the daily, you can kind of see that that weekly trend line matches up with this daily area of demand. So I would not be surprised if we kind of like see a short-term reaction back up in towards supply, in towards this overall buy before the sell, and then from there we continue down lower. But that's obviously the higher time frame. Going in towards the lower time frame and looking at the 4 hour, there was no conviction at all that a pullback was ready to come into play. As you can see, this was the fractal structure, this low and this high, and yeah, we just remained bearish. So if we were to pull up in towards this area of supply, we could have looked for shorts, but otherwise, guys, in my personal opinion, there is no trade to be taken. So now looking at EURUSD as a whole, we're just going to keep an eye on this overall sell before the big buy in towards the highs, where kind of like this entire upward move originated from, because ultimately this area of consolidation right over here, it started from this sub for the buy, and from there the market went all the way out back up in towards over here. So let's keep an eye out for that area of demand. We're nearing it, and it's also paired up with a daily area of demand, so got my eyes open for that. So that is euro dollar for you, and then obviously once we enter that area of demand, we'll start looking for kind of like a change in the overall character or some kind of corrective price action. So that is euro USD. Moving on in towards the dollar index itself. So the dollar index is extremely bullish as of now. Obviously, this also has to do with fundamentals, which we cannot really control, guys. So obviously, you guys know what is happening in the Middle East. So as far as I am currently aware, Israel is very determined to strike back at Iran. So let's keep an eye on that, because that will heavily influence the dollar again. Everything in regards to that will push the dollar up higher. So therefore, I would still not be surprised if we see a further continuation up in towards 107,500 approximately, as those highs are still pretty open and ready to get taken out. So again, kind of like this weekly trend line, which you have situated over here, I would like to see kind of like a further push up. If we do see, let's say, a short-term downward movement, look for longs from these areas of demand. Because for the rest, if we just quickly go in towards the weekly, because obviously the daily and 4 hour are looking extremely bullish. We broke through this weekly area of supply, so now it does seem very clear that we are going to be heading up in towards, let's say, around 108 and take out this liquidity high, which is an obvious high of liquidity of this overall consolidation range. So that is it for the dollar index. Now moving down in towards Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar here on the daily, nearing that area of demand situated over here. It seems that we're finally breaking out of this overall consolidation range. So yeah, let's see your Aussie dollar pushing towards this area of demand, and then from there we make our next decision. Overall, Aussie dollar bearish. So yeah, looking for obviously further downside. So going in towards the 4 hour, then what we can see over here is that the overall momentum is still in towards the downside. Obviously, again, yesterday, guys, no trades. This was supply. Shorts from there sadly didn't tap into it. So yeah, just continuing down lower. Saw an initial reaction to this demand zone, but nothing significant due to the overall bearish nature of price. Going in towards here, I think it's very clear what we're now looking for, at least this range over here to get hit. There is no demand inside of here. This is like a big fair value gap, but in my personal opinion, we should at least reach this area of consolidation. So waiting for Aussie dollar to push down lower. If we do pull back already, then we just look for an overall continuation of the trend in towards the downside. So that's Aussie dollar moving down in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar here for you moves down lower as well. Obviously very similar to euro dollar and Aussie dollar. Again, no longs to be taken because there was no shift in market structure. For longs, we needed to take out this low first. Now push up, down, boom. Because now this is your fractal high over here, which broke this fractal low, meaning that this is a significant high. So we need to break that, pull back in towards demand, which then created, and then you can look for those longs. But overall, the bearish momentum is still very visible. So we're still looking for that further downside. Going in towards the daily, I mean, there's no real clear area of demand. Obviously, we have some demand in, let's say, this doji candle, which you're currently reacting to. Personally, not a massive fan of using demand in that way because of the fact that we've already pretty much tapped in towards this sell for the buy over here. So therefore, I'm more focusing on the overall swing low, which is situated over here. So yeah, I would like to see that swing low get taken out. But obviously, if we just focus on the 4-hour time frame, and do keep in mind that we've now reacted to that, let's keep an eye out for what happens for the rest of these days. Because if we do take out, and let me just correct myself at the moment, guys, because this is the fractal high. If we do take out that fractal high, maybe we could already see a short-term long back up in towards this area of consolidation over here. So keep that in mind, that we are reacting to some form of 4-hour demand over here to our left. If we just extend the zone, you do have an imbalance over here. So we could see a potential long start coming into play. And what you would want to see for that long to come into play is obviously that 4-hour change of character. So the break of that high, pull back in towards a clean area of demand formed, and then look for a long. I would advise to maybe look at a 15-minute setup, not necessarily at a 4-hour setup, due to let's say the bearish nature of price at the moment. And otherwise you'll have like the stop here, the entry here, and then you would need to, let's say, target at least all the way up here to get that 1 to 3 out of it. Now going in towards NZDUSD, again, one of the cleanest pairs, I would say. Going in towards the daily, we've now tapped in towards this daily area of demand. So from here, we could see a potential pullback come into play. What can I say? A very, very nice pair overall. Obviously starting to look for a pullback because the overall trend is still bearish, but we've now seen another BOS. So BOS over here, after BOS pushing towards demand, we expect a pullback. When can we expect a pullback? Going towards the 4-hour and look for a structural shift. So for that, what we would need is, again, change of character high is situated over here. So preferably kind of like see a short-term pullback, push down, fractal low, fractal high, and then something like this if you would want to get any long out of it. Obviously, we had some change of character over here. So it was like a potential long to be taken over there. But again, not really high probability due to there not being any, let's say, high conviction area of demand over there. Hence why I wasn't personally a fan of trading this. It was also Monday, so hence why I also said yesterday, like, let's wait and see what happens. So now we're seeing these downside pushes. We're coming in towards pretty much this area of consolidation over here. So let me just adjust this line. So we're coming in towards this area of consolidation, which starts over here. So going to the right, we can see that we're now inside of it. And just to put this line down below and go to the left, you can see, okay, we're still inside of this area of consolidation. So let's keep an eye out, see if we see any like real reaction. Preferably, I would like to see something like this: fractal low, fractal high, boom, boom, boom. And then, for example, a push in towards here, with this being your liquidity high. That is what I would like to see personally on NZDUSD. But again, I'm just drawing it out. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not necessarily wrong, but I'm just going to be waiting for something like that because that is a high conviction play. So going in towards gold, our last pair. So gold pushed up higher. I think it pretty much happened what I was explaining yesterday a little bit. So we just needed to grab a little bit more liquidity below the lows. swipe that liquidity, sort of V-shaped reaction in towards the highs. Obviously not looking to short anything due to, again, political situation globally. So I'm still bullish on gold. So what I'm looking for the rest of today is just to continue longing it from this area of demand. So once we come in towards that area of demand, we look for the further long on the 4 hour and the 15. So overall on the 4 hour, that starts at around 23.61 all the way down towards 23.24, where we're going to be looking for those longs. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic day, and we will speak soon. Thanks.